So speaking of childhood trauma, this segment of the show, as you can imagine, I'm very giving. I want to help people. I have a forum with this show to help people and make their lives better, beyond you people. And so everyone, but it's working. Everyone I know saw something on television that was not intended to terrify them, but has stuck with them for years. So Punky Brewster comes up often. There's several episodes of Boy Meets World, The Peanut Butter Solution, Watch Her in the Woods, Return to Oz. These are things that come up in this sort of category. So I've called this segment TV Casualty, and the idea is a comedian friend of mine will come out here, we'll talk about it. You guys are a nice audience. We're all together going to help them get over this trauma. If you're all right, you verbally agree by not saying anything. So in TV Casualty tonight, please welcome my guest, Kaitlin Buckley, everybody. Thank you so much. So, your particular trauma, did someone put, is this RA's hand sanitizer?
It's actually mine, I gave it to RA.
Which is, it's communicable hand sanitizer?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That's you all. It's got aloe in it. So, the Nickelodeon network is actually more responsible for a lot of these traumatic things than you would think. Your particular one was a television show called
David the Gnome.
David the Gnome.
Anybody? David?
Is anyone familiar with David the Gnome? Yes.
Yeah.
So this was a show, it was made in England, it was animated in Spain, so right off the bat we're like, that's fucked up. It was about gnomes.
Sure was.
They live in the forest, and it was, for the most part, somewhat environmental, but not terribly traumatic on the whole.
Yeah, it was a gentle show. He was a doctor, he wrote a book about gnomes. Very, very gentle and non-threatening.
He's got a fox as a friend, and they live in the forest. But then, it was on 2 seasons, but without warning, the final episode introduces this concept. We'll watch the clip first, and then we'll discuss it. So this is, out of nowhere, this is the final episode.
Terrible.
May, exactly how long is it since we were married?
In 3 days, we'll have been married 300 years.
Time goes by so quickly, it just seems like yesterday.
Yes, time sure flies when you're surrounded with love, and every day brings happiness. Lisa. Oh, Lisa. My love, please don't cry. That's the way life is.
I just feel so sad when I think of leaving our friends.
Yes, Lisa. But we're past 400. It's time.
Yes. I'm sorry. Nothing lasts forever, does it,
Lisa. There are very few cases on record of any gnomes living more than 400 years.
Yes, I know. But there was that couple in the Balkans who lived 550 years, dear.
But that was because they were cared for by several generations of the family of fighters.
I suppose it's because they never had to worry.
So you're watching this, you're how old, 5?
Yeah, I'm like 5.
And you're like, it's David the Gnome, and she's like, Colin, we married 300 years, how sweet. And then he's like, but we're probably gonna die now.
Where did that come from?
I don't know, like, at first I thought he was just trying to, like, how long have we been married? I'm about to die. Like, I thought it was a weird transition.
Yeah.
And so, I was a little bit older than you, I still am actually. And I thought maybe if they said, gnomes only live to 400, then they just die, it's what happens. Tough, but we could deal with it. Then they introduced that weird thing about the ones that live to 500 because people loved them. Which makes it so much worse. He's like, oh no, some do live longer, but those are ones that people love.
In the Balkans.
In the Balkans. So now, literally, the whole rest of the episode is just them and all their friends crying for a half an hour.
It's not okay.
Were you like, they're gonna get out of it, there's gotta be a way?
There was always something nice that happened. Like, there were animals. It was like very, I collected treasure trolls. That was my level of being like tough as a kid. I couldn't handle gnome death.
No, is there a kid watching David the Gnome being like, I hope he fucking dies soon? He's gotta be at least 400 years old by this point. It's been on for like 25 episodes. So you're like, well, maybe it'll be like a nice thing, and they're like, you know, the cycle of life and whatever. But then we get this scene about 5 minutes later, which, if anything, is more traumatic, I
Yeah,
think.
it's worse. That was just kind of easing.
That was just laying the
That was
groundwork.
Have a merry life. Please, friends, don't be sad. Oh,
Look, David, they've come to say goodbye to us.
Oh, it's more animals. They're coming to say, no, they're coming to cry with all the other animals.
Actually, David had pine cones in his throat. Remember, David, you saved his life.
thank you, everybody, for coming to see us off. No, thank you. Keep it for yourself.
Because we're going to die.
You haven't. Where we're going, the flowers bloom all the time.
The deers are crying. The friggin' mice.
David, just look at all the friends we have.
But not enough.
Yes, we've had a good life and good friends.
They would have lived. They
And then
had
they just, bye. That's it. So, here's the weird thing. They're not sick. They're like,
healthy.
we're old and we need, and what do? The plan is
Well, they have to go to the land beyond the mountain.
to go to the top of a mountain and die.
Yeah. But the way that they die is really, it's open to interpretation.
It depends on who you are.
No, I think they committed suicide as
A
well.
lot of people think they committed suicide.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
You shouldn't see that when you're
No, because it's not like they're like, you have 2 weeks to live. They're just like, I guess we'll just go stand on the mountain until we die now.
Yeah, that's what they do.
I don't know what they were trying to teach children with this, because it's not like my grandma's died. There were kids who were like, how old's grandma? She should probably go up to a mountain and die. Like, that's what they would learn.
Yeah.
So here, everyone's of a strong constitution. We're all here, we're all supporting each other, so you're gonna be okay. Kaitlin, you're gonna be okay. This is the scene where they die, so take it.
I want to know everyone's opinion.
That's their friend who's dying.
He also hates his life.
It's
his
here.
friend.
It's here.
Yes.
What? He's a tree? He's a tree now.
Yeah, and the poor fox.
It's not okay. That fox is still suffering to this day.
And then they go, we are trees, but we're also dead.
And he's still
So goodbye now.
See you later.
That's it. That's it. You can stop it there. Yeah.
Well, it's like Jonestown.
It is really Jonestown. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not all right.
So, did you ask your parents, like, what the hell has happened to David the Gnome?
You know what? They weren't in the room, but ever since I've been a bit of a dark personality.
So you think that's directly contributed to by David the Gnome?
Well, yeah. When I was little, I'd get up and I'd sing the little song, and I'd roll into Gnomeville or wherever they lived.
Yeah.
And it was very gentle. And then at the end, they all commit ritualistic
Suicide. And Tom Bosley is David the Gnome, so he's the
Yeah,
guy on
Mr.
Happy
C.
Days. Yeah, warm voice.
It's nice.
So, Kaitlin, to fix you,
Yeah.
here's what I've
Here we
done.
go.
So, excuse me one moment. I have a guest for you to talk to. I think that you just don't have closure. And I think
I don't. I've been carrying on.
what you need to do is say to David the things that you didn't get to say to him when he was taken from you.
David, you're a very kind gnome. You were a doctor and you help people, and I'm sorry you felt like no one loved you enough to keep you alive for 500 years. Because guess what? I loved you enough to keep you alive like the Balkan gnomes.
What about the Balkans? Shake his hand. Thank you. I think you feel better now. But one last thing. There was one final lesson in the show. We have one last clip. Basically, this teaches you how to deal with grief.
Oh, yeah.
So the fox is very upset. This is the final scene in the show. This is how he deals with his grief. I won't ask you if you've taken this lesson.
Look, Agnes, what a handsome fox. Seems to me he'd make a fine husband for you, don't you think? My name's Christopher. Delighted to meet you. Oh, Agnes, too.
That's right.
Look, she winks.
Yeah. She goes, yep.
She winks back.
That's it. They run off together.
And that's how you deal with grief.
Yeah, you just immediately after your friends and family, like he comes down the mountain, he's like, that guy kind of looks like my friend. Oh yeah. And that's the whole thing. It's like, just screw it away. That's what you need to do. So Kaitlin, I hope you didn't learn that lesson. You got to talk to David. You said the things you needed to say.
Yeah, I feel a lot better.
I'm glad that you feel better.
Everybody.
Thank you, everybody. We fixed Kaitlin, everybody. Kaitlin, there's no power on you. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're doing God's work here. If you want to spend some time with David, he's not busy for the next half hour. So you can hang out with him. Thank you, Kaitlin. Please do. Kaitlin Buckley, everybody. I'm just a really good guy.